Death and Aliens, an in-depth look at horror and sci-fi TV from two friends who vaguely know what they're doing. I'm MK.
And I'm Courtney.
And Courtney, how are you?
I'm okay. I am making it. Things are better than expected, which isn't always a positive vibe. Um, it's I've been hella busy though. Um, this weekend was full of like events, so I've been like working overtime and like the like 1 o'clock time, and like the early morning hours of the day when other people aren't awake yet. Um, But it's all good things. Bestie Kirsten's birthday was last week also. She's the 25th, 6th.
I was like, I'm the 25th.
I know. I thought she was the 26th, but then I think she was at my house on the 25th and told me it was her birthday. But also she works nights, so she might not even know what day it was when we talked about that. Um, so we've been back to our walking, not today because the world ended, but like on a regular day. We've been walking every morning, which has been nice. And then Saturday we did her birthday event and we went to Korean barbecue and hot pot. It is so good. It is so good. And it was like the five of us. And so like Mike and Nick always take over, which is fine by me. So I literally just had to like sit there and they just like would hand me cooked food. And I was like, this is amazing. And then I was like, okay, I'm about to throw up because I've had 75 pieces of meat. So please stop handing me food. Um, so good though, so good though. And then we played this new game. Are you a Ticket to Ride? Do you know Ticket to Ride? Okay, so I'm newly familiar with Ticket to Ride as in past few months. And there's a legacy version.
Okay.
And for the legacy version, it's for 5 people. And you play like 12 rounds of Ticket to Ride. And each round like builds on itself. And so like you only get like a portion of the map. So you get like New England down to like Louisiana, but not Florida and not like West Coast at all. And you build it as you like play more rounds and you get more like obviously you get more routes, but you also get more like random cards that are like white routes are now like an extra 2 points if you get them during this card being flipped over. And like it's so intricate, I guess. So we played like 3 rounds and it's just so much fun. And like you like unlock a circus or something. That's what happened at the end. But I was switching laundry over and it was 2:30 in the morning. So that is all the information I have for you about the circus. But it's really fun. And I didn't know I was gonna love Ticket to Ride, and here we are. And I love Ticket to Ride. But then we were up until I didn't go to bed till like 4 a.m. because I can't sleep when I first get home. And I had to get up the next day and drive over to Homa's house, which is this beautiful venue. And we're close to Baton Rouge, where we went to a bridal show because one of my law school friends, Amy, is getting married next April. It was very fun. It was my first bridal show out of all of the bridal parties I've been in. It was my first bridal show, which was very fun. And she got us VIP tickets, so we had like champagne and got to walk around the grounds. And she didn't win anything, which was a real bummer. I think it was rigged. But
of all the bridal shows between my wedding, my sister's wedding, and my best Eric and Brittany's wedding, I did not win a single thing at any of the bridal shows I went to.
Yeah, no.
Oh, no, that's not true. I won $10 off from this lady who did like signage, but everything she had to rent was ugly. So,
oh, that's a bummer. That's a bummer. Yeah, we wanted her to win things. I selfishly wanted her to win the grand finale of the cruise because then I would have got to go because her fiance is currently here on a visa and can't leave right now. But he's legally here on a visa.
He just can't go on a cruise right now.
Right. Which means I would get to go. So, but don't worry, we didn't win. It was fine. But yeah, so I'm excited. It'll be next April. So I got time.
Yeah.
But so it was just a really busy weekend, but it was really fun because I don't get to see Amy like every month or every other month or something just because we live hour and a half, almost 2 hours apart.
Right.
So it's, you gotta like plan for it. Can't just like show up. But yeah, so that was my weekend. It was fun. How are you?
I have never been so exhausted in my entire life. Um, if anyone else listening to this is a teacher, God bless you. We're almost there. Um, I don't know. I've been seeing a bunch of posts online about other people having spring break like now, which doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, they have it. They just had it down here like last week. Yeah.
Why? Why? East like do not then do you get off again for Easter? Like I don't understand. Um,
I don't think you get like released. I think you get like Good Friday and then like maybe the Monday. But it's not like a
okay.
week or anything.
Oh, because our spring break is always based on when Easter is.
Because I thought because you also get a winter break though. We don't
We
get
do.
winter break down
We
here.
do. So do they get 2 weeks
For
in the
what?
East for spring break?
No, but y'all last longer. Like we end in like the end of May and y'all end in
Um,
June.
yeah, but you guys
Yeah.
start way earlier than we do. We don't start till after Labor Day.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, I don't know. We
Yeah.
usually get spring break. I think they get fall break down. I don't think we got fall break, but I think they do
No.
get fall break down here now.
Oh, we don't
Only
get
Christmas.
we don't get a fall break, but we also start a month later than you guys do.
That's true.
So it makes sense for us to have more breaks in the other half of the back half of
Hmm.
the year. But yeah, anyway, I am so tired. March is the worst month. March is the only month that there are no breaks.
Good news, it's
But
the last day.
yeah, I know, but now I still have 2 more breaks, 2 more weeks. Um, but like it's been the longest month of teaching ever. And I was talking to one of the other teachers today, and I was like, I have a countdown on my phone that tells me how long until my honeymoon. And I was like, it is 98 days till I go to Europe. However, 90 of
That
them
is
are
not enough
between, I was like,
days.
90 of them are between me and spring break.
Also, that feels really soon.
Yeah, it does. I don't have a passport yet.
I'm gonna get you one of those.
Yeah. I mean, I have the papers. I've already done the application and I have the new certified copy of my marriage certificate. I literally just need to go to the store and get the passport photos taken and then send all the
Mhm.
stuff in the mail. But I worked every single day last week, so it was not in the stars for me.
Yeah, it's just a loud snack that I'm having.
I can't hear
Amazing. Okay.
it. Yeah. I mean, and I'm eating full on pork taquitos, so like,
Mm,
yeah.
that sounds good.
But the thing that I worked a million times last week was shucked.
Oh God, so good.
So good.
I saw that for free with OBC. We got free tickets when I worked at the bar, and Alex
Yeah.
Noel was in it.
Oh my
God, it
God.
was such a good show.
So good. Um, the number, like the one-liners in that show are just so fucking like stupid funny. I
Yeah.
have I have never like my favorite character is Peanut,
Hmm.
just says the most unhinged things. But the quote that I related to the most because it made me laugh the most in it, and then also I had tequila that made me understand it over the weekend was
Yeah.
Gordy's quote that says, "This whiskey is so strong it could raise 5 children as a single mother on a teacher's salary."
Hmm. Yeah. No, Alex does not know me. Let me start there. Alex does not know me, but they used to come into the bar all the time and would just like say their quotes at me all the time. And it was so funny. Like, like they might would have recognized my face if they saw me then, but like they don't know me
Yeah,
now.
but
But oh my God, that was the funniest thing because I went and saw it, but also
yeah,
like when they were just like working on stuff, they would just come in and like say the most random
yeah.
stuff from the
Oh.
show.
But like also the music's really good.
Yeah.
Like
It is surprising. I thought I was gonna hate the show. I'm not gonna lie. I thought I was gonna hate it. I thought it was gonna be dumb.
I thought it was gonna be corny.
Hmm.
Funny.
Hmm.
But and I guess if you don't like country music, I could understand why there's parts of it that are like a little cliche, a little kitschy.
Hmm.
But like the two ballads, so legitimately good.
Hmm.
I
It's such a
love,
good show.
yeah,
So,
yeah. So at least even though I was exhausted and working every day, it was for that. So
right, right.
I had one complaint for the whole show, just one. And it is that in the song Corn, they're talking about places you can bring corn. And they keep saying you can bring it to a bris. And I don't think that's how you pronounce that word.
Yeah, it's a bris.
Where?
What do you mean where?
Well, first of all, no one up north has ever called a barbecue a bris.
That's not what a bris is.
What is that?
That's where you have a circumcision of a Jewish kid or whatever.
Oh, see, here's the thing. In South Africa, a barbecue is called a braai, but it is spelled with an
Hmm.
S.
The Jewish
So,
rite of circumcision performed on a male child on the eighth day of his life.
but why the fuck would you bring corn there?
You don't have to, you're just allowed to. That's the point of the
I'm pretty
song.
sure you're not, though.
Sure. Yeah, you can bring food. There's nothing. I mean, I've never been to one, but my understanding is you're not allowed to bring food.
That just feels like it would be unclean.
Well, it does feel like it'd be unclean, but
No, but like again, I mean like kosher laws
yeah,
of
yeah,
clean,
yeah.
not like oh that's dirty.
But you're
Like
not like involved. Like you're sitting in the back eating corn. Like that's probably allowed, I bet.
I feel like it's not.
Um,
Just
um, I feel like they did their research. Can you bring food to a bris? Oh, that's not what I didn't type the right word. Um, yes, it's customary and thoughtful to bring food, especially a meal, to a bris to celebrate the birth and circumcision of the baby. And it helps the parents in the coming weeks. You can bring corn.
that is so weird.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Complaint removed. Done.
Yeah.
Overruled.
Um, yeah, no, because I in my mind, what I thought was happening was that they were mispronouncing the word braai because that is a barbecue.
Is that how you spell it? And where did you say they spell it?
It's
They
in
say it?
Afrikaans. I don't actually know how to spell it. I don't know I barely know how to speak
Mm,
I barely know how to speak I know like four words in Afrikaans. I had to like really hardcore teach myself how to say I love you at Brittany and Dee's wedding. Like I don't fucking know
right.
Afrikaans. Um, but I know braai is a barbecue, and in my mind, that is because I correlated corn with barbecue. I
Yeah. But
like
that makes more sense though. So it's not as fun.
yes, but I thought the point was for it to get like steadily worse.
No, you
Because
just jump in.
like it starts like a barbecue, a wedding, a funeral. Like it gets like steadily
Oh.
more uncomfortable as the song goes on.
I
Because
mean, well, it seems very customary to bring food to a bris. So like
well, you know,
that's how you
apparently,
feed the parents.
yeah, I am still uncomfortable with that.
That's fair.
I'm also just uncomfortable with like I understand that it's customary and that it is part of the Jewish culture, and I'm not like shaming them. I just also feel like it's weird to have a party for cutting off a part of your skin.
No, for sure. For sure.
Like I'm
Yeah, yeah.
like it's not even the circumcision that bothers me, it's the having a party
Right.
for it.
Right.
Feels
I was part of a circumcision once. I tell you when I did I had to feed a baby sugar water when I did my internship at the hospital in high school. It was weird.
that is weird. I
Yeah.
hate it. I hate it.
But it
Yeah,
was like in a medical room. It wasn't like a party or anything.
right. Yeah, no, your internship was like in a hospital, not like having the kid's dad do it at home and while people eat corn in the other
Right.
room.
Hmm. Maybe in the same room.
Maybe.
There are no rules at a bris, it seems.
Again, I too many things today have made me uncomfortable. And
I'm just unhinged today because this is the first time I've sat down and not had to like do an
yeah,
action. I can just snack and talk, and it's awesome.
which is
I'm very happy to be here.
so lovely. Um, but since I am now too uncomfortable to continue, can you please give me something to change the path that we're on?
Absolutely. I don't know why I took a bite of food as soon as I said I was going to talk. It's the possibility of having a dream come true that makes life interesting. Paulo Coelho. I have typed his name 17,000 times. And I cannot for the life of me ever pronounce it. Paulo
Paulo
Coelho?
Coelho.
Yeah.
Coelho.
Is that right? Is it
Yeah.
Coelho?
Yeah.
Okay.
He wrote The
So,
Alchemist, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, there's your quote.
Beautiful. I really like it a lot.
Mhm.
So today we are talking about Stargate SG-1, Season 7, Episode 12, Evolution Part 2.
I also forgot this was the second part of an episode when I started it, and I was like, "What's happening?" Oh yeah.
Oh,
We're
right.
continuing on.
It was rated 8.1 stars, and it premiered on Friday, January 9th, 2004. So that
Right,
was
because the last one was like summer.
it was like mid-August or end of August. So we jumped like a solid 6 months. The top song was Hey Ya by Outkast.
Yeah, I like it.
And the reason some of these things hit me as hard as they do is will make sense when I get to the last thing for the On This Day. The same book is the number one book. Da Vinci Code is still the number one book.
Sure.
It like took a couple weeks off between, but
Look,
not really.
it's a dope book. It's one of my tops. So I'm here for it to be number one forever.
And the top movie of the day was Big Fish.
I've never watched that. I'm familiar with its existence,
Yeah.
but I've never watched it. And it's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's Tim Burton sad.
Yeah.
So on this day, a man named George Papandreou, who at the time was just in Parliament, but in between now and then has become and then unbecome the Prime Minister of Greece.
Okay.
He started a conversation in Parliament to potentially open private universities in Greece. It didn't last. They still don't have a single private university. They have some private colleges, but like not really. They do not have private universities in Greece.
They care about public education. Yeah.
Well, I think there are some merits to private universities in terms of competition and
sure.
But yeah. But I think it's just interesting that he was like, let's have a conversation. And they were like, nope.
Absolutely not.
On this day, Turkey abolished the death penalty. Then in 2017, they tried to bring it back. They didn't succeed. So that's good.
Yeah.
Especially knowing like how politics were going in Turkey in 2017. That's probably a good thing that they didn't succeed.
Yeah, Turkey's got some wild politics. I didn't know anything about Turkey until the past couple of years. It's wild.
The US finally lowered the terrorism threat level to yellow. It had been on orange since a while.
Beginning of time, 1776.
Yeah. Right. No, I mean minimum 2001.
Yeah. You only got hold of security.
Right. Guatemala also had a real rough day, like the country as a whole, because there were two different volcanic eruptions in Guatemala, and a bus drove into a crane in Guatemala City and killed 15 people, unrelated to the two volcanic eruptions.
That is wild. That is bonkers.
It was also my sister Gabby's 10th birthday.
Hey, happy birthday, Gabby. She don't listen.
No, she doesn't. She's a bitch. But also the fact that all of these things were happening like makes me feel like wildly uncomfortable because I know that day. Like I remember my sister's 10th birthday. Day, yeah. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, I remember my sister's 10th birthday. In fact, the next day, the Saturday, we had a bowling party and her friend Teresa got a 300 just casually bowling on a Saturday.
What's wrong with her?
she was like a league bowler by the time she
Hmm.
was 10. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about her in 25 years, so
Well, I hope she's well.
I hope so too. Um, this episode was directed by Peter DeLuise. The story was by Peter DeLuise and Damian Kindler. The teleplay was by Peter DeLuise, and the editing was by Rick Martin.
But Peter's all over this.
All over this, which you can tell in some of the dialogue.
For sure.
The guest star is Enrico Colantoni.
I love him.
Me too. However, I told you I was really excited to talk about him. But interestingly, not as much fun fact internet like stuff as you would think.
Oh, that's such a bummer.
I mean, he's known for Galaxy Quest, Contagion, and Veronica Mars.
And Just Shoot Me.
Well, and I was like, and
English
obviously,
teacher.
right, and obviously he's been in like a billion things, but those are the top 3 credits on IMDb. His character in Just Shoot Me is phenomenal, though. He is Canadian, but he is first generation Canadian. Both of his parents were born in Italy. He has done some philanthropy. Most recently / importantly to him, he runs a company that helps protests to boycott commercial pet stores.
I've heard this about him.
Yeah, which then makes me feel a little guilty because I definitely got my lizard from a commercial pet store. But in my mind, I was rescuing her from the pet store.
I think we've only gotten one dog from a pet store, but it was like the day that they had the shelters come to the pet store.
Oh no, so I got mine from PetSmart. But
where else are you gonna get a lizard?
There's exotic like pet places here. But I got it on a grant. So like the government paid for me to have it for my classroom. And so I didn't give PetSmart the money myself.
Right.
And I rescued her from living in a container with the 4 other geckos that should not have been in the same like terrarium. So like I certainly don't support them. But unfortunately, they're going to continue to do this until they get shut down. So like I didn't actively give them the money, which is still me trying to justify it, but like yeah.
Yeah.
It was really sad that I really could not find a ton about him. He just did a
English teacher.
Is that what there was something that he just did that was like, had like 5 names in the name. Like it was on his Instagram. Hold on.
Oh, I was gonna say the last thing I saw him in was I think
no, this is
last summer, last fall.
Yeah, no, this is like just happened.
Ooh.
But I don't know if it is happened in America.
Oh
no, I lied. Well, first of all, he is also in the new Suits LA.
Oh yeah. I knew that. I haven't watched it yet, but I didn't know that.
No, but he was in something that was for a British TV channel. That was called what is the name of it? It has a stupid long name. Mother, Father, Sister, Brother, Frank.
Like a horror comedy?
Yes.
It's on Tubi. I gotta get on this. And Pluto.
Yes, but so it is a horror comedy that he is in, that he plays one of the members of the family, and it is called Mother, Father, Sister, Brother, Frank.
Man, I gotta go add this to my list so I don't forget it exists.
Yeah, it is.
Because I love him and I love a horror comedy. I love a horror comedy more than I love most genres.
Right. And it just got released in the UK a couple, like 2 months ago, so it's all over like Instagram right now. And then he's also still on Allegiance.
Yeah, I haven't watched Allegiance yet, but I did know he was on that. Did you watch English Teacher though that came out last year?
No.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. You would like it. It's like it's super like It's like almost stupid comedy sitcom, but not
Mm,
quite.
okay.
But it's God, it's so funny. And who's funny in it? Who's so funny in it? So
He's
highly
he,
recommend.
he's so funny in this episode.
Oh my gosh, he is. He's so funny in
Oh my
everything. I
God.
love him.
I love him so much. And I knew you loved him, so that's why I was like, we'll know who I want to talk about next week.
Before he had his head down with sunglasses on. I was like,
Yeah.
who is that? What is that him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are big Enrico Colantoni fans over here. So the episode starts with a previously on that is scenes from last week. Which is for us last week, for the original viewers 6 months ago. Um, the kidnappers have given the US 72 hours to pay or they kill Daniel. They are in fact an anti-government like band of war criminals in Honduras. And the relationship with the Honduran government is too fragile, so they can't do it.
Yeah.
Jack, because he's Jack, immediately wants to send an extradition team in or instruction team in. He's like, let's do it. But the CIA is working on gathering intel first before they send anyone down there recklessly. My only problem is why did we send Daniel down there recklessly? Because remember how none of this would have happened if
Yep.
yeah. So
Why would you send the people that are not trained in emergency situations, but you're not going to send the people now that you've created an emergency situation that can handle it?
correct.
Yeah.
Raphael is torturing Daniel by eating pineapple in front of him and then interrogating him about the device.
Man, I'll tell you though, Daniel's a tough cookie.
Yes, Daniel's a very tough cookie. Also, Daniel looked buff as shit in this episode. He looked hot. And I was like,
Yeah, girl.
Daniel
Yeah,
Jackson's
girl.
not supposed to be that spicy.
But today he is.
um, So he's like, no, it's an ancient artifact. I'm an archaeologist. Like, which to be fair,
Which is all true.
all true. That's what I wrote. I go, but that's true.
Yeah.
And Raphael's like, you're not a scientist, you're just a thief. Like, you're coming into my country, you're taking things. And then I said, and then threatens him with the jankiest jumper cables I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He, and then we get the credits. So things are looking really good.
Yeah. Feeling very positive for Daniel.
Yeah. Post credits, we find out that the CIA agent on the case has figured out where Daniel is and has information and wants to do an extraction, but he's specifically requested Jack to join him. We also find out that there's definitely some history there.
Saucy.
Jack's like, oh, that guy. And Pam's like, what do you need to tell me about him? He goes, never mind.
Well, he's definitely
He's like,
not
yeah,
allowed to what he's saying.
He's like, I can't take someone else. Well, then I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah. He's definitely involved. Okay, cool. Everything's fine.
Yeah. The president has greenlit this up for just Jack, and Agent Burke is his name, to go down there. Just Jack. Jack and Sam have an emotional goodbye scene for I don't know what reason. While we all know how I feel about Jack and Sam, I will never complain about their romantic, loving moments. This just felt like a hey, we haven't reinforced
Done this in a while.
Yeah, we haven't reinforced to you guys in a while that they're definitely in love and not allowed to be. So let's just like make sure we remember that.
For sure.
Next, I said next up is torture for Dr. Lee. So they drop Daniel back in his little crate and bring Dr. Lee out, which is much more of a problem than torturing Daniel. You can just tell by looking at him. You can just tell by looking at him he is not gonna hold up well.
Yeah.
We're not gonna make it. We're not gonna make it. Although those two people are probably the same person.
I don't remember what that's from.
That is the scientist on the dinosaur ride as you're running away from the
Mm,
extinction.
I was like, I hear it and I cannot remember what that's
Yeah.
from.
Which is one of the reasons why I will never forgive them for getting rid of dinosaur. It's fine.
I know,
Um,
I always forget until someone tells me again, and then I'm just sad again.
yeah. But I mean that guy's basically Dr. Lee with less facial hair. Like,
Yeah. Well,
um, so the team at the SJC works on how to get access to Anubis's base, and Selmac volunteers to wear the assassin armor and infiltrate personally, which Sam takes very personally.
but he also looks wild. I don't
So,
like his like once he gets his whole gear on, he just looks kind of funny.
well, yeah, because it's a funny looking gear.
Hmm.
Um, but
That's what I'm saying.
also like we're not there yet.
I know.
Right now they're just sitting at a table talking about it. But it's also like so funny to me because like Sam is a major.
Mhm.
And I understand that she's like done her stuff. She is a pilot. She's been to space. She does all this stuff. Great. But her father was a general. And in the last 5 years has spent the entire time as an undercover alien operative. So when Sam gets her panties in a bunch about him putting himself in danger, I get so mad at her.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
It's like he's more qualified for this than you are.
Yeah. Yeah, girl.
Um, Jack meets Agent Burke in Honduras and he fills them in on how Raphael's gang operates and what's going on and what has been happening down there. And we find out that Jack and Burke used to be team members and something happened with friendly fire and Jack didn't vouch for him. So they have it out about the chain of command. They're yelling at each other and Burke just walks off. But then the waiter tells Jack that he's a guide and he can take him. Um, we find out that Bill caved to the torture and told them
Oh no, I'm so
everything.
surprised. Shocked.
He told them everything.
Yeah.
And somehow, well, because of telling them everything, Raphael figures out how to activate this cube.
Yeah. I also want to note, like, there's so much information here. There is no reason to have told them everything. You could have still given them half of the information and they would have thought that was it. Like, there's so much information.
And half of it is so beyond unbelievable that, like, I would
Right.
just torture you more for thinking you're lying to me. What does it
Right.
say about Raphael that he's like, oh, a weird box that definitely is the ancient Mayan fountain of youth? Done.
Yeah. I mean, look, sometimes these people just be wanting to live forever. And they're like, you're giving me an option to live forever? I'm in. I'm
And
in.
I'm in. I can't think of something worse than living forever.
Bro, I
Like,
could you imagine?
I'm not like excited to die by any means. Like
Sure.
I'm not like that's going to be an adventure for me, but like I cannot think of something that I would hate more than living forever because
Because,
one, everyone you love is dead.
yeah, yeah,
Two, I don't have inherited generational wealth. If
right.
I'm living forever, I'm fucking working that whole time. And that sounds miserable. Like,
Mhm.
why do you think vampires just fucking robbed people and killed only rich people? Because they weren't gonna work.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if I was going to live forever, I would start killing people. That is not a question for me. Because why do my morals matter anymore?
The
Um,
most unbelievable thing about the entire Twilight series is
mhm.
not that they shine or glow in the dark, is not
Sure.
the whole lore of the shapeshifter werewolf bullshit. It is the idea that Carlisle would be a member of the Volturi and say, you know what? I'd rather work as a small town doctor for the rest of my life.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, but also to be fair, if I was living forever, I would just jump around from like occupations. I'd be like, I'm gonna be in school for the next 4 years, and then I'll do this job, and then I'll move across the country where no one knows me.
Oh, I would go to school forever.
Hmm.
I'd just be in every college ever and like learning every course.
Yeah,
But then it wouldn't matter if I actually did the work
right.
because then I could just leave.
Yeah, for
But I
sure.
guess I would because I'd be bored because everyone I loved is dead.
Yeah, I think that would be the worst part is that like everyone you love is dead because then you're like meeting new people, and I don't know if you know, but as the generations go on, they get worse. Um, I can't imagine having to be around like Gen Alpha when they're adults, being the only person left that I know. Like that just sounds like torture.
Well, and then you would just like say things.
Oh my gosh. All the
Like,
time.
who, it's going to be 600 years from now. I'm going to be trying to deal with these weird children who've had implants in their
Hmm.
head since the day they're born.
Hmm.
And then something's going to happen. And I'm going to be like, road work ahead. I sure hope it does. And they're going to look at me like I'm a fucking psychopath. And then I'm going to try to find a way to die.
To be fair, if you say that to a lot of people now, they will also potentially look at you like you're a psychopath.
That's how I can tell if kids are cool or not when they know what that
Mm,
means. It's my
yeah,
barometer.
yeah. I like it. I
And
like
at
it.
least the ones who haven't heard of it, at least like do vaguely know what Vine is.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah.
Oh
Um
God. What a time to be alive. All of the time. God, that's a nightmare. Whew. No,
um
existential crisis. We got to keep going.
yeah. So then we flipped to the other side and Jacob gets set to head to Anubis's base. He puts on the funny outfit and looks like he looks like a Jadoon.
I don't know what that is.
The Jadoon are the rhino-headed people from Doctor Who in the
I do
big
know what that
space
is.
suits.
Yes, yes.
He
I was
just
trying so hard to figure out what he looked like, and
he
God,
just looks like a Jadoon without CGI rhino head. And like
yeah, yeah, 100%.
um
Bless his heart.
but actually I think it's probably more like a centaur and like the potato head people because his head doesn't fit inside of it like correctly.
Yes.
So Jacob Carter is a centauran.
Sure.
But he passes through the force field, gets escorted to a science room or something where the guy thinks his suit is damaged and is like putting him on some weird device. Everyone else is waiting incredibly impatiently on the ship outside the planet. And by everyone, I mean just Sam. Sam is very
Yeah, just
impatient.
Sam. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everyone
Mhm.
is there, only Sam is impatient.
Right.
Um, Anubis enters and asks the scientist to work on some remote probe, which makes it feel like things are about to go very wrong.
Yeah.
However, they immediately cut back to the sensor array being powered down and the ship heading into the planet and talking to Jacob, who has a way to get them in to like a hangar. Because who the fuck knows what Jacob does? Um,
Everything. He does everything.
um, back in Honduras, the guide gets Jack to the temple, and Burke is already there. So the two of them have some more words. They argue a little bit. They send the guide off and head after Daniel, just the two of them. We flip to Daniel, and Raphael is interrogating him, and he's like, "No, I'm telling you, like this box is dangerous." And he's like, "Nah, I'm so strong now. Like I feel the power in me. I'm great." And his men are like, "This is terrifying. Please don't do this." And he's like, "Okay, bitch," and kills them all.
Yeah. Because that's what you do.
Right.
We just said you're about to live forever. You're going to lose everyone you die,
You
which is going to
love.
suck anyways. You're going to start by killing them all. That's your starting point. That's going to be a real rough lifetime.
Yeah. Which Daniel doesn't necessarily know this at this point because he left for last episode early.
Mhm.
But we know that whatever this cube does or has the power to do, one of those things is creating life from things that were previously unalived.
Mhm.
So that is super good for everyone. Teal'c and the Carters, which is what I refer to our B plot for the rest of the episode. I just wrote Teal'c and the Carters every time. It's like one Blue Ivy drops her first album.
Yeah.
And so Teal'c and the Carters are on base, and oh, but this is when Sam and Teal'c join Jacob on the base, and he is acting like it's all gravy. He's like, "Yeah, sorry, I got held up." Jacob.
I know. Bless his heart.
Um, Back in the jungle, Jack and Burke find Rogelio, who is not dead.
I was so surprised.
I don't
I
think
for sure
that's
thought he was dead.
scientifically possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
He got shot. And while I understand that he didn't get shot like in a major artery or something, he did lay unconscious on the floor of the jungle for a few days. And I think that blood loss would be problematic.
Yeah, because he didn't look like he got himself together. It's not like he was
No,
like,
he
I'm
was
gonna
still
tourniquet this.
still
Like,
handcuffed.
yeah, it looks like he was just laying in the exact same spot that they left him in. So, like, he hadn't fixed anything. Yeah, I had that same conundrum.
So while I was happy he was alive, and I loved this scene, and I thought it was funny, um, I still don't think it makes sense.
Right, correct. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But he's like, yeah, no, this is where Daniel is. Go find him. He owes me money. Um, on the ship, Thoth comes back and is confused that the Kull Warrior, which we learned the name in this moment for the first time, the name of these super soldiers is Kull Warriors, Kull, is missing, and that he thinks there might be some flaws in how they control the symbiote. So Anubis is like, okay, go fix it. We get a quick scene of Burke and Jack walking through the forest, and Burke's like trying to talk about what happened on their past bad mission, blah blah blah. We go back to the ship on or Anubis's base, and they see a lot of cult warriors. Like just like as they're walking through the hallway, they see a bunch of them randomly running around. They're like, "Oh, I don't know how many there are." And then they find this room full of symbiote holding tanks with and one has this huge nasty ass like queen gold in it. My next note we go back to Honduras. It says Daniel's working on an escape because the device is making Raphael loco.
So true though. So true.
Everybody's lost their mind a little bit, and Daniel's like, "Yeah, we got to get out of here." Not good.
Yeah. Yeah.
We back on Anubis's base. We find out that the queen is spawning gold with no genetic memory, blank slates, which is able to create these called warriors because there is no like desire to be better. Yeah. And they realize that everything about this is way too close to what happened on Pangar with the Tok'ra Queen. So they put together the pieces, figure out that Anubis saw this in Jonas Quinn's mind and stole the idea from them, basically. So they plant C4 on the Queen's holding tank. We go back to the jungle, and Burke tells Jack the truth about what happened. The other guy who he killed in the friendly fire had backstabbed them and was like turning mercenary for the paycheck. And the only reason that Burke didn't tell the truth when he was court-martialed was because then the other guy's widow would lose his military pension because he'd be a traitor. And he couldn't bear to like let her suffer because her husband fucked up.
Yeah.
And he didn't like intentionally kill him, but it was like a gut reaction. But it was also probably better for her that he's gone and not turned mercenary.
For sure, for sure.
The kidnappers are fighting each other because really they're fighting the one that was already dead and is now not dead anymore, which is lovely. Daniel manages to escape.
Thank God.
Yeah, we quickly go back to space where Teal'c and the Carters are searching for a console. We don't get very far in that scene. There is quite a bit of jumping back and forth. Jack and Burke hear firefighting and they run toward it. Daniel and Bill are trying to escape, but Bill is very bad at it.
He's so bad at everything.
Teal'c and the Carters find okay, this quote that I get, this is what I wrote. It says Teal'c and the Carters find the most distressing Hitler slash Scar slash Darth Vader room full of warriors bowing to Anubis.
That is fair. That is
To
very
be fair, both Darth Vader and Scar have imagery based on Hitler.
Based on Hitler. Yeah.
I do know that this imagery was based on Darth Vader and the Stormtroopers. Joseph Malosi said that. But so I guess
you're not wrong.
I'm not wrong on any of the accounts.
Right. It's just kind of a wild thing to say out loud.
Raphael's about to take Daniel out. He like catches up to him. When Jack steps in and saves the day, Daniel does kind of think he's hallucinating for a minute.
Fair.
Which, yeah, is very fair. He hasn't had water in 3 days. Thoth catches the Carters and Teal'c and they take him down, but an alarm goes off, so they call to Braytac for a ride so they can get out of there. As they run away, a Cull warrior chases them. We go back to the jungle where Jack is trying to get Daniel set because he twisted his ankle while he was running or something, and the dead guy shows up again and Burke takes him out and then tells them that their shit is bananas. He was like, what is happening? And they're like, he was like, let me guess.
N-A-N-A-S.
He was like, let me guess, it's classified. And he goes, you guys have some crazy crap. Like,
yeah.
the space team escapes, but a Cull warrior gets on board. They ring him off into nothingness, and Sam takes a big ol' smack to the head. Daniel and Jack go back for the box. We have some really funny moments with Dr. Lee wanting to make sure that the box is off. And this was some of the dialogue that was very obviously Peter DeLuise. It's like most of the funny stuff in this episode was very, but this one, where when Daniel says the light is usually a pretty good indicator that it's on. So if there's no more glowing light, then I guess it's off.
Then I guess it's off. Yeah. Yeah. That is pretty sound logic. Daniel Jackson.
And then, of course, Burke is just still cracking up that everything that they do is so wild. But Jack kind of forgives him a little bit and like says that he will vouch for him to get a better position out of Honduras. And then everyone makes it back to the SGC. They all share what happened on their trip. Everyone has a welcome home moment, and then Jack and Sam get their own little special, if we weren't at work, maybe we would kiss moment.
Right.
And then the episode ends.
It wasn't a bad episode. I didn't mind it.
I liked it. I think it was really funny.
It was funny.
I'm just quickly checking because I had a very crazy day today and I did not check for trivia. Oh, that's great. So the super soldier, like the Cull warrior, they find out that his home planet is called Tartarus, which is the realm that Hades lives in. So Tartarus, no. So the god of the underworld, Tartarus is actually under the underworld. Like it's locked below the underworld. It's where the Titans are imprisoned under the underworld in Greek mythology. But Anubis is actually the Egyptian counterpoint to Hades. So that's just a little fun fact.
That is a fun fact.
The device that Daniel goes looking for is suspected to have the potential to heal and maybe a source of the Fountain of the Youth myth, but the lead antagonist is called Raphael, which is a Hebrew name that actually means God has healed. No, we were just doing all kinds of
Not
um
healing
oh
with a god
oh
name.
yeah. Apparently this is the episode where we learned that Dr. Lee's first name is Bill. So all of the other times in the
That you
past
said,
two
Bill.
years that I have been calling him Bill was because I already knew that, but apparently it was never mentioned until this episode. So
Interesting.
apologies for the spoiler. Um, this is the first episode to mention Jonas Quinn since his departure. Um, however, a photograph of him was seen in the space race episode.
Was it?
Yeah. Um, the tiger stripe camouflage uniform that O'Neill is wearing during his Central America mission is the same one worn by the alternate universe SG-1 team in season one's There But for the Grace of God.
Oh, that was like 75 years ago.
It sure was. So that's just some fun trivia.
Love that.
Do you have any thoughts, theories,
Um,
predictions?
I am feeling positive about the second half. I know you said the second half's better than the first half of the
Yes.
season. And I only kind of believed you because I had no proof. However, now I feel like I have proof and I'm starting to believe you that it is going to be better on the second half. This felt very much like this is almost Jack's last episode. Um, I
Mm,
mean, I don't think he makes it after this season. That's just a thing I already don't think. I mean, he's already not working, what is it, Thursdays or whatever.
yeah.
Um, but it just like every scene like had some like even though a lot of them were with Sam with the longing and stuff, it was just like there were a lot of scenes that I was like, this feels like we're getting like one of our last shots of Jack, like before he kind of gets ready to move on. But so I don't know if this is his last season or not, but I know obviously he doesn't stay till the end because he's already on his way out. Um, so I don't know if that's true or not, but those are the vibes I got.
Okay. Um, that's fair. I'm obviously not going to tell you anything.
Sure.
Um, I will tell you that next week's episode, um, is I don't. Next week's episode has a really interesting guest star.
Okay.
But it's a character piece episode.
What does that
So
mean?
so it means that like it's similar to like the Knox or the first
Mm,
Cassandra episode or like the what's it called? The one that we just saw a couple weeks ago with the female uh Jaffa, where it's like there's a character or characters that you meet that are like it's a really big emotional story for them, but not really for the necessarily for the whole
yeah.
show. So it's not
Interesting.
it's not it's not a terrible episode, but it's definitely
Mm,
not um
mm,
the
mm.
the best. But
I've
I
spoken
think
too soon.
no, but I think that that's always true. I think in any show, when you have whether it's the beginning of a season or the mid-season premiere, you always have a really hype episode, and then
Mhm.
episode two is always the weakest, in my opinion.
Okay.
Very few shows have had a really strong episode two. I think that that's the place where because most people won't quit a show until they've seen three episodes. If they can't get through three episodes,
Yeah.
they won't watch it. So if they have a really strong premiere and a weak second episode, but then a third episode that's stronger and ties things in from both of those episodes, people will keep watching. So that second
Yeah.
episode is where they can afford to put character pieces or fluffier episodes because
That does make sense.
I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying it's fairly standard, especially for shows that would fit the standard model of television that we had for 25 years.
All right.
So,
Fair.
who do you want to punch?
Bill. He just like
Yeah.
I'm gonna break. If you capture me and torture me, I'm gonna break. However, I am not putting myself in a position to be captured and tortured.
Yeah, that's fair.
If you can't handle the what is it? What is the phrase?
If you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen.
Yes. Yes. Yes, Bill. So go find a lab on a campus somewhere. You're not made for this
No.
military stuff.
No, that's fair. I'm gonna punch Raphael.
Sure. Yeah.
Not, I mean,
Yeah,
he
he
was
sucks.
obviously terrible the whole time, but specifically for the moment where he was like, "Don't you feel so strong now? Don't you feel the effects of this machine?" Ha 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 ha.
Mhm.
I was like, "Bitch."
I know. Yeah.
Who's your MVP?
I was kind of going back and forth on this one, but I think I'm gonna end up going with Jacob
Okay.
because he really did take a lot of risks, but he knew what he was doing. He put in the work and he just like he knows what's up.
Yeah. I'm gonna pick Burke.
Hmm.
Because not only is it Enrico, he did save Jack and Daniel from a zombie, and also he was the funniest character for the whole episode. So,
Yeah, for sure.
and he gave Rogelio a pack of gum. So was like, I can't help you right now, but I'll give you some gum while you lay here bleeding
Yeah,
out.
right. At least things will be a little bit more enjoyable.
Which I mean, sometimes I feel like shit, but I'm just like, but if I could chew some gum while I was feeling like shit, I'd feel better.
That is never how I feel because gum hurts my teeth. But
Mm.
I understand the sentiment.
Okay. Gum hurts my jaw.
Mm.
I'm really not supposed to chew it.
Hmm.
But Dan chews gum all the time. And so I have started chewing gum a lot, and I blame him.
That's fair.
So yeah.
That's fair.
Um, with that, if you have any more insight on Enrico Colantoni things that we should watch, or thoughts about Stargate, you can email us at deathandaliens@gmail.com or follow us on any of the social media at Death and Aliens. You can follow me at ENKAY_superstar.
And you can find me at CE Cloud 13.
And we will see you on Thursday for the penultimate episode of Hannibal.
Yep. I was like, no, that's today. And I was like, no, that hasn't happened yet in your life.
No, in your life. In ours, it has happened.
We have watched it. We are going to record it now. You will not have seen it till Thursday. Correct.
Bye.
Bye.